Germany, 1945. It had been 2 years since the beginning of day and night bombing raids on German cities. The Americans would perform daytime precision bombing raids on German infrastructure, while the British would perform nighttime raids on German cities such as Dresden. To counter these threats, interceptors would fly sorties in the daytime, and specialized nighttime fighters would patrol in the dark hours. On this night, an alarm had been raised of an incoming air raid. A squadron of night fighters were scrambled, but all but one had to land due to engine trouble. The plane that Oberst Heinz Edelweiss commanded was the Heinkel HE-219. Unlike many hastily converted night fighters, this machine was designed from the ground up for the task. The Eagle Owl was a bulky yet advanced design. It boasted a pressurized cabin, integrated radar, 20 and 30 millimeter autocannons, and an early ejection seat. While he knew that an advanced aircraft such as this could not guarantee victory, it gave him some confidence in his ability to survive the patrol. An Allied ace had been operating in the area. A modified Mosquito night fighter, tasked with escorting British bombers on their nightly raids, had been efficiently dispatching the night fighters sent to intercept the bomber flights. However, unlike most nights, he was sent to the northern coast of Germany instead of the western cities being assailed by Allied bombs. As the bulky aircraft flew through the sky, a modest cloud cover inhibited what remaining ability to see he had left. Apart from the distant orange bursts of bombs and the white streaks of searchlights, the soon-to-be ace found himself on a peaceful patrol of a pristine sky. The aviator's attempts at stargazing were interrupted by the crackle of a radio. A woman's voice broke the silence with an order to continue along the coast until the detected aircraft was located and destroyed. Heinrich responded with a tentative affirmation. The plane continued on its course for a short duration until a dot appeared on the onboard radar screen. An excited cry filled the radio as the radar technician announced the bogey to be in the 10 o'clock position. Making the necessary course adjustments, Heinrich could feel his heart sink as he realized the bogey lay beyond heavy cloud cover. Fearing any possibility of a trap, he told his fellow crewmen to be ready to bail out in case of an ambush. As the plane entered the clouds, the cabin was shrouded in more darkness than before, until the cloud tint began to change to a piercing red light. At first, he thought it could be a ground flare to help him locate the assailants, or more grimly, an enemy bomber could have been hit in the bomb bay by a stray 88. But as the plane emerged like an eagle from the clouds, nothing prepared him for the sight that lay ahead. From what he could make out, he saw a twin-engined aircraft being chased by a bright red light. He watched as the aircraft made futile attempts to shake the pursuer. Staring in disbelief, Heinrich witnessed a bout of red light strike the plane, immediately burning up and falling to the ground. As the plane drew closer, Heinrich, in his terrified state, found himself uttering prayers. These prayers would be answered, as the light was seemingly unaware of his presence, which allowed the bulky aircraft to prepare its deadly onslaught of tracers. With the firm press of the control stick, the red dot became a red ball in a similar manner to a red balloon of gas being punctured with a red-hot needle. Heinrich watched on as the fireball fell to earth, coming to rest in a field with a violent detonation. The pilot sat, transfixed with the light show unfolding before him, when the silence was broken by a familiar crackle of static. Target destroyed. Return to base. The Eagle Owl turned back to base, with its sortie completed. The next morning, the pilot found himself called into the headquarters. He was ushered into an office by a well-put-together officer. In the office sat a general field marshal, who ushered the pilot to take a seat. He informed the pilot that the plane shot down was the mosquito that had been crippling their night fighters in the previous months. It was believed that it was on a recon mission intended for an attack on a battleship moored in a nearby port. Considering the fact that this gave the battleship time to escape before the attack, and it being his 5th aerial victory, the General Field Marshal presented the young airman with a Knight's Cross. Heinrich was elated with the revelation, but there was still one thing on his mind. As he took the reward, he asked the man sat opposite to him of the second aircraft. The officer seemed puzzled at the inquiry. "I was not informed of a second plane. I will have to look into this." With that, the officer dismissed Hines back to the barracks. Nothing came of the inquiry, as the General Field Marshal was replaced not a week later. This new commanding officer's orders were the same as the first: defend the fatherland. So Hines flew on until the end of the war, but that would not keep Hines grounded for long. With the start of the Cold War, West Germany needed more pilots for a renewed Luftwaffe. So it didn't surprise Hines when he found himself flying again on his nightly patrols. Nothing unusual ever happened on these peacetime patrols. They were always peaceful flights over rebuilding Germany, on a path to a brighter future.